Hello, everybody. Regardless of which course you are in, or if you're in both, there are some changes and updates to the policies in the class. Not anything crazy. Improvements. I'm going to just go through a few of those. So please listen carefully and then familiarize yourself with the new updates. Okay, so videos. All assignments, in-class activities, and weekly exercises will be introduced always in a pre-recorded video. And it will be posted before your class. So please watch prior to attending class. So when you attend, we can go over clarifying questions and discuss how to get started. We will not be introducing new work in class, and it will be all pre-introduced in video format for you to watch prior to attending class. The reasoning: we don't have a lot of time together in class, so I want to make sure that time is used most productively. Going over assignments and introducing them actually is more effective digitally. You're getting the same information and you can prepare yourself before coming to class. And that way, that information then is always posted on YouTube and accessible to you. Or if you miss class, then you still get the introduction to the assignment. So even if you don't have a scheduled class on a certain week, like if you're in 1500 and I'm seeing you every other week, that doesn't mean that you won't have an assignment that week. It just means that you're doing it from home. So whenever I post, I will send out an email with new assignments and work. Here is just screenshots from both classes. I organized them so that the newest videos will show at the top. So in both playlists are public. So you should be able to search from youtube.com in addition to clicking and linking from e-learning. However, subscribing is always a good way to make sure that you're seeing any updates when they happen. The Zoom and the schedule. So you will no longer receive Zoom access emails from me before our meetings. My Zoom personal ID is now located at the bottom of my signature. I have a picture of that later. So you can type that ID into Zoom and it will locate our meeting room for you to enter. In addition, the meeting ID and link are always going to be located in the weekly schedule as well. So you can always go to our weekly schedule in our Google Sheets, and here is the Zoom access information. Will always be there, and so again, you won't be getting emails from me, which helps if you are a late sign up to the list of attendees, and I have already sent out the access information, so now it's here. Even if you decide you want to pop into class 5 minutes before, you can access it here. All right, so more on the schedule and expectations. So as we are entering the second half of the semester soon, I can't believe it's midterms already, even though midterm due dates happen before the actual midterm of the semester. Our work is going to become heavier and project-based. So please catch up on any unwatched videos or lectures and resolve any technology issues soon. Any information provided in an assignment handout or an email, e-learning, or in a video will not be repeated. It is expected that all students take part in the required coursework unless you have communicated with me about an absence from attendance or participation with e-learning. So 1490 courses have 2 classes a week, and I only see you for one of them. The recorded lectures and videos are not considered homework. As this is a hybrid course, I see you half of the time in person that I would otherwise. So the other half of the class is happening at your own day, time. It's happening at your house. And it's assumed that you are taking that time and spending it engaging with e-learning and any other materials, such as readings and lectures, in addition to outside coursework. So, for instance, watching the videos is considered participation in attendance and not homework. So I have access to see YouTube views and e-learning logins. I can see who's looking at what documents, discussion boards, etc., and when on e-learning. If you have a question about material that was covered previously, and it is evident that you did not watch or read the requirements where that information is located, it will be considered an absence, and you will need to ask a classmate. So why is this? There have been significant amount of absences lately. For example, and the people that came to class last week know this, our highest class was 3 people. And on the sign-up sheet, on the Google schedule, it often has a list of many more students than that. And I'm not including the ones in the online meeting area. This is just from people who are supposed to be in person. And I don't rule your life. You make your own decisions. You do that on your own. That's why we have this in a Google Sheet, so you can move your name around if you need to reschedule or you're sick that day. There's plenty of opportunities to come to class another day. But if you are absent or miss class, it is not my responsibility to catch you up. You will have to make sure that you're caught up in the videos, in the PDFs on e-learning, with the updates, with the emails. So if you miss and you're like, I didn't get this information, that's why all the information is going to be pre-recorded, and our in-class work sessions will be for active working in collaboration and like hands-on learning. Unless you communicate with me otherwise, with other circumstances, that's fine, but many students haven't been, and I don't require you to. But as a result, I do get a high level of emails asking questions that there are entire videos for, or there's a handout for, or we've gone over extensively. It's just that these students haven't, been there or participated. So that is what will happen. I would suggest that you exchange contact information with a buddy in the event that you are absent and you did not fully, participate in e-learning, so you're missing information. More on absences. So it is required of instructors to report any students who have not participated or attended classes. So especially if you are on FAFSA or any type of student loans, it is considered fraud if you are not participating in class and you have accepted student and financial aid. If you have an engagement of the course of less than 20% for the semester, and we have not discussed this prior, you are past the threshold of being able to pass the course. If you have not participated or attended at all, you will receive an X as your midterm grade. An X is an unofficial withdrawal from the course, and unlike a standard traditional withdrawal, it is factored into your GPA as a 0 or an E. A traditional withdrawal does not show on your GPA. I regularly receive notifications from registration about 2-week-long student absences for extreme personal circumstances. Those notifications also say that the student will reach out to me to communicate about staying caught up in the class. And the notifications also provide a date that the student is expected to return by. In many cases, I am not being contacted by the students, and students remain absent past the 2-week mark in terms of not participating in the course. If you are prevented from attending, you need to communicate with me. Again, I do not take attendance, but I do monitor engagement of every student, which will reflect in your grade. So communication is key. So just to reiterate how I monitor engagement, I can click on your name in e-learning and it will tell me all the days and times that you've logged in. It will tell me what you've looked at. It will tell me when you've opened certain files. It will tell me your upload history and everything I could want to know about your activity on e-learning. Midterms. So design studios do not fit perfectly into the standard incremented grading terms. Usually submitting grades is optional. Submitting midterm grades is optional for faculty. However, this semester we have been instructed to do so as so many students, university-wide, not specific to our class, are struggling. Advising will be able to access your grades should you be one of those students who needs to discuss paths for success with advising. As you know, the bulk of your submitted work has happened very recently, and I am not able to fully grade every individual with a high level of detail and feedback in time for midterm submissions, which is tomorrow, Monday. So for midterm grade purposes only, I will be submitting standard grades based on the overall work you have submitted. Midterm grades do not get recorded on your transcript, and they will change for finals. This is a way for you to see how you are doing in the course overall, and your detailed feedback and actual grades will be distributed in the coming weeks. So you might see A, you might see B, you might see X. I do grade on a curve, so whatever increment you fall in, that will give you an idea of where you're falling in the class. And if you haven't turned in any work yet, or by the time that I submit, if you still have outstanding assignments, that's okay. I know many of you, we've talked about it. So I will take that into consideration, just so you know. Again, I'm going to go back to this slide. Down here at the bottom, you see the Zoom personal ID. It's also, you might notice, it's also my cell phone number. So that's what you would type in if you go to zoom.com. It'll always be in my ID, or always be in my signature, so you can find it, but it's also on our weekly schedule. All right. Thank you, everybody. And finally, student resources. The university has a plethora of resources for students. I know many of you are first-year students, and so I know through our assignments, there's been a learning curve with, using the Office suite and Google and e-learning, basic college stuff. So there are places that you can go and resources and tutorials that Western has set up for you. Here are a few. There's a writing center if you need help writing. We don't really have, a ton of writing in this class. There's a software and web applications link. When you go there, it lists all the different types of software and applications that Western provides, with instructions on how to use it and download them. So for example, the 365 Office is located there. The G Suite Google apps are all there. Like, for example, we have a Google Sheet, we have Google Docs, we have some shared folders. That's where you will learn all about that. Disability services and student support. I have not received any notification about anybody needing accommodations or special learning styles or techniques, but if you are finding that you would like to discuss those, go through the proper channels at Western, because they will send the faculty notifications such as like extra test timing and things like that. There's a link for first year student resources. So they understand this transition is confusing. Western's huge, it's its own little city. There's tutorials on how to use e-learning, tutorials on anything that you will need to do. There's student IT training, and there's counseling services. There's a technology help hub, which you can go if you have a technology related question. And then there's student success coaching, which to my knowledge you can sign up for and be assigned a student success coach, which is like a life coach for students. So check those out. Please take advantage of the resources, because not only myself, but the rest of faculty assumes that you have these resources and you fully understand them, or you are aware of how to access them, which is why you keep getting assignments that require you to have specific softwares or skills or technology capabilities. So I'm glad to help if it's like really specific to our class, but a lot of the questions that we're dealing with are things that there are basic tutorials for through Western. So check those out. If you have any questions regarding the new updates and policies, please let me know.